Alright, let's get started with one-handed throws. I would say these are a little bit more complicated than the two-handed throws, however, they're not by much. So starting off, we're going to go with our left hand as the active hand, and our right hand as the passive hand. And like we did in our two-handed throws, we're going to cross the suture in the beginning to make sure that the first few throws go down flat onto the tunnel that we have here. Alright, so starting off, we're going to hold the suture between our thumb and middle finger in our left hand, the active hand, and then pull out with our index finger. Now we're going to use our right hand as a passive hand and just lay some suture right above that. And what you want to do is keep this hand a little bit more loose, the right hand that is, the passive hand. Because next what we're going to do is bring our index finger below the suture that's being held by our thumb and middle finger and grab it with our nail. Okay, I'll show that again. Once again, below and then grabbing it with our nail. Okay? And what we're going to do now that we're in this position is with our nail, pull that suture through a loop that we created. Okay? I'll go ahead and show that one more time. So, here we are in the beginning. Thumb and middle finger, index finger creating a little bit of a space here, right hand with the passive hand putting that above our index finger, keeping it nice and loose, the index finger of our left hand going underneath this suture that's being held by our middle finger and thumb in our left hand, and grabbing it with our nail, pulling it through the loop that we created there. And now that we're in this position, we're just going to let go with our thumb and middle finger and just pull the rest of it through. Okay? And now, if you see, we actually have a pretty good loop that's coming down and right onto the tunnel. Okay. Alright. Now, for the next throw with the one-handed knot tie, we're going to hold it between our thumb and index finger in our left hand, and we're going to karate chop. Okay? We're going to karate chop onto the suture. Next, with our passive hand, we're going to bring the suture above the karate chop. Now, the middle finger gets a little bit of work here, because the middle finger will be going underneath the suture that's being held by the thumb and index, alright, like this, and then we're going to grab it with the middle finger and ring finger, okay? So this is the important part right here. And we're going to bring that through the loop, alright? Just like that. And now we're going to cross our hands to make sure the loop is flat and then bring that down. Alright, now let's do the one-handed throws with our right hand as the primary hand. Once again, we're going to cross our hands in the beginning. And since our right hand is the primary hand, the suture in our right hand will be going above that in our left, as you can see there. So, once again, the suture will be between thumb and middle finger, and our index finger will create a little bit of space here. Okay, left hand will put the passive side of the suture above that, and our right index finger will make a little bit of a loop, go behind the suture that's being held by my thumb and middle finger, and then pull that through, just letting go with the thumb and middle. Okay, and we can grab it and pull that nice and tight down. Okay, now we're ready to karate chop. Holding on to the suture with the thumb and index, karate chopping with the rest of the fingers. We'll be putting the suture in our passive hand over that in our right. Now, middle finger gets all the work here. Underneath the suture being held by our thumb and index. And now, the suture that we want to put in the loop is right between our middle and ring finger. And we're going to bring it right through just like that. Okay? Now, to make sure that it goes nice and flat, we're going to cross our hands and pull it nice and flat onto the tunnel.